With Tyler Lockett released and DK Metcalf now traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Seahawks are going to need some new wide receivers in 2025. That's what we're talking about today right here only on Seahawks Now. If you like what you see, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. It really helps the channel, and let's get into it. So the Rams are still looking to trade Cooper Kupp, veteran receiver, should the Seahawks come calling. And I think this is an interesting question because Cooper Kupp is a player that I have seen torch the Seahawks on countless occasions. He spent the past 8 years with the Los Angeles Rams, our biggest rivals. But now the Rams are looking to move on. They just signed Davante Adams to a cheaper contract. They're done with Cooper Kupp. They're ready to move on from him. Supposedly, they're looking for a trade partner, and if they can't find a trade partner soon, he's going to be released. And when he does get released, I think there will be a lot of interest in this guy. I understand he is going to be 32 in June. And yes, he has dealt with his fair share of injuries. But when he's healthy, he's still one of the better receivers in the league. Last season, he played 12 games and went for 700 yards. He was over 10 yards per reception, and he still caught 6 touchdown passes. Those are really solid numbers for a wide receiver too, considering that he missed 5 games with an injury. In 2022, he missed 8 games. He only played half the season, and he still went for 800 yards. So if he had played a full season, he would have had 1,600 yards. That's really impressive. Now, the volume hasn't been there as much since they got Puka Nacua, understandably so, because Nacua is also really good. But at his peak, Cooper Kupp is still a top 10 receiver when he's healthy and when he's playing it at his best. So I could definitely see the Seahawks making an offer. The question is, what would he be worth? I don't necessarily think he is worth anything in a trade. So I would say the Seahawks, if I was John Schneider, I would wait to go after Cooper Kupp until we know that he's a free agent and that he's been released. And then, though, I would totally go after him. I would totally offer him something, not a big deal, but something similar to what Davante Adams got. Something like a 2-year, $14 million. $7 million a season. Something like that. And it helps that he does have a local tie. He played for Eastern Washington University, so he has been in Washington State before. He has a local tie-in. I don't know, maybe he wants to play with Sam Darnold. But I just think that for a guy like Sam Darnold, who we've seen have a lot of success in Minnesota when he had great weapons like Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, and we've also seen him really struggle in New York when he did not have many great weapons at all. I can't even think of who he had in New York, to be honest. I don't even know what that supporting cast looked like. It was not good. So in Seattle, you're like, well, he has JSN. That's good. That's a good start, but he doesn't have Metcalf. So we're going to have to build up that receiving core. If the Seahawks are trying to compete, which I believe they are, you got to have a good receiving core. Or else Sam Darnold, we're going to get if we want to get the Vikings version of him and not the Jets version of him, getting a good receiving core is important. And a veteran like Cooper Kupp would really help. Speaking of veterans, though, the Seahawks actually just signed a new veteran receiver, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, coming over from the New Orleans Saints. We talked about this before. About a month ago when the Seahawks first hired Clint Kubiak, I said I would be very interested to see the Seahawks go out and get MVS, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, the veteran receiver who played with Clint Kubiak last year in New Orleans. Played under him, I should say. Played under his scheme. MVS, he has had a serious run of quarterbacks in his career. He went from Aaron Rodgers, he played 4 years with Aaron Rodgers, then 2 with Patrick Mahomes, and then last year he played half the season with Josh Allen before being traded from the Bills to the Saints. Played the second half of the season with a various group of Saints quarterbacks, and now he is heading to Seattle on a $5.5 million deal. Well, it's only a 1-year deal. I love this as a cheap, low-risk wide receiver 3 contract. I think MVS can be a great wide receiver 3. I don't love it if the plan for him is to be your wide receiver 2. So I think they still need to get a number 2 receiver, whether that's in the draft or whether that's in the free agency market, like getting a Cooper Kupp. I don't think MVS really works as your number 2. But as a 3, I do think it could work because he is really fast and he's always been a guy who gets great yards per reception. He's currently the active NFL leader with 17.4 average yards per reception in his 7-year career. That's really good. That's really good. Going into year 8, he'll turn 31 in October, so he's still at an age where I think he can produce. I mean, last season, he only caught 19 passes last season, but 4 of them were touchdowns, and he still went for over 400 yards. He averaged 21.6 yards per reception, which did not lead the league, but it was top 3. He has led the league before. He's never in his career, listen to this, never in his career has MVS had fewer than 15 yards per catch in a season. So he's always been a really good kind of deep weapon guy. But he's not going to be a high volume guy. He's never caught more than 42 receptions in a year, and only once he's gone over 35, which was in 2022 with the Chiefs. He got 42 passes for them. So he's never been a guy who gets a lot of receptions. He's never been a guy who catches a lot of touchdowns, but he's usually good for about 1 or 2 times a game. He'll be open for a deep, 10 to 20 yard reception. But he's not in the short game. He's not going to catch your quick slants guy. That's not what he's there for. He'll burn you, though. He'll come out for a Hail Mary on 3rd down, and he'll burn you. And he can break free for some big, big catches. It just doesn't happen very often. So because he's not a high-volume guy, I don't think he can be your number 2. But as a 3, I love it. As a 2, he leaves you wanting more. As a 3, I think it's a really great choice. So I'm very happy to see him in Seattle. I think it's a great contract. But speaking of guys who could return to Seattle, Tyler Lockett. Could Tyler Lockett return to the Seahawks on a cheap deal? I didn't really think about this much until I saw it trending on Twitter the other night. A lot of Seahawks fans are saying, why not just go out and try to bring Tyler Lockett back? And you might be thinking, well, why did they release him if they're just going to bring him back? The answer to that would be because he was going to be very, very expensive. And now on a cheaper deal, he could actually not be that expensive and come back and play for the Seahawks. Now, he does still want to play. And it's possible that the Seahawks offered him already. They said, we can restructure your deal. And it's possible that he just said, I would rather play somewhere else. So maybe this is not a possibility, but maybe it is. Maybe Tyler is open to coming back to Seattle on a cheaper deal. I don't see why that would be a bad choice for the Seahawks. Again, they still need receivers. As a number 3, Lockett could be great. I think having a veteran in the room is super, super important for Sam Darnold. And for the growth of a guy like JSN, for the growth of, I'm assuming we will draft someone as well. So for the growth of whoever we draft, and for the growth of JSN, and for the growth of Sam Darnold, I think having a veteran wideout in the room is a great idea. So obviously, the Steelers, the Raiders, definitely possibilities there as well. But I think a Tyler Lockett return to the Seahawks would not necessarily be a bad idea either. With that all being said, guys, that's all we have for you guys today. Tune in tomorrow. We're going to be talking offensive line, more free agency rumors, all that good stuff. So if you like what you see, again, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. It really helps the channel. And comment down below, who do you think the Seahawks should go out and sign as a receiver? Do you like Cooper Kupp? Do you like Tyler Lockett? How about Amari Cooper? He's still available as well. There's still some good options out there for the Seahawks if they want to. We'll see you guys tomorrow, and as always, until next time, go Seahawks.